to go to the Montreal Canadiens, I don't think I could write the script any better.
In a draft that had some very good young goalie talent, the Montreal Canadiens were able to find a good one in Jacob Fowler. The top goalie in the USHL last season and a draft pick with #1 goalie potential, Fowler is a bit raw but loaded with what it takes to be successful in this league. How successful? Well, only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, Jacob Fowler is a very mature and likable young man.
I think I come off as, a confident guy, which I am. I don't consider myself cocky by any means.
Confident in his abilities now and his ability to be the best he can be. Let's find out about Jacob Fowler right here at Talkin' Habs.
I want to be a Montreal Canadian, and I want to win a Stanley Cup for them.
Fowler's explosive lateral movement is the first thing that jumps out at most scouts. His ability to transition in and out of reverse VH is quick and efficient, which makes him very effective on low to high passing plays. From Elite Prospects 2023 NHL Draft Guide. Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome in. Montreal Canadiens GM Kent Hughes and the Habs scouting staff may have found themselves another third-round gem in the form of goalie Jacob Fowler. Fowler is a very mature, confident, but not cocky young man who can potentially become the best goalie taken at the draft. Predicted to go in the 3rd or 4th round, Fowler was taken with the 5th pick in the 3rd round and Montreal's 2nd pick at the draft, 69th overall. He was ranked 5th amongst North American goalies. 18 years old last November. He's from Florida. Catches left. He is 6'1". You may see him listed as 6'2". At the combine, he was measured at 6'1". He's either 201 pounds or 223 pounds. I've seen both. I'm not sure which. His last team was the Youngstown Phantoms of the USHL, where he won a championship, their first ever. He's a tad small at 6'1", and why he was available to Montreal. A subpar 6'2" goalie needs to be highly skilled to get drafted as high as Fowler did. In a heavy workload of 40 games last season, Fowler was 27, 9, 3, and 1 with a 2.28 goals against, a 9.21 save percentage. And in the playoffs, Fowler stepped up his game and went 8-1 with a shutout in the championship clinching game. He had a 1.36 goals against and a 9.52 save percentage in the playoffs. He's a big game goalie, and he was the USHL Goalie of the Year.
I think for me, it's just getting more mature. I'm only 18 years old. There's not too many 18-year-old goalies in the NHL, especially with the Montreal Canadiens. So
during one of Fowler's post-draft interviews, I was very impressed with his maturity. He seems very level-headed, intelligent, and thoughtful, well-spoken, and in touch with who he is as an athlete and goalie, and overall just very mature for his age. I'll bet he killed it at the combine interviews. By Fowler's own words, he's not the most flashy or athletic goalie. What he is, though, is a goalie that stops pucks. He's not flip-floppy or spectacular or a goalie that lies on his back a lot. He just stops pucks, and he's consistent in doing that, proven with those numbers that he puts up.
I play a pretty simple game. I'm not a guy that overmoves or is laying on his back, flopping around. I like to be on my feet, and I think my game's, nothing sexy. I just stop the puck.
Fowler has the #1 potential with his high hockey sense, cool and calm demeanor, an air of quiet confidence in his abilities no matter what the situation in front of him. A little Carey Price-like. Very strong physically. He's confident in his positioning. His technique has to be solid to succeed, and it is. That physical strength is a big part of his game. He'll be going to Boston College to overcook, as he says, and be ready to join the big club, potentially in 4 years. I hope Montreal doesn't rush this kid, and I'm very sure they won't. Boston College has a good history with developing goalies. Fowler is a work in progress, but isn't every 18-year-old goalie? Let's take a look at Jacob's strengths. Hockey sense, right at the top of the list. That's his ability to read the game. Positioning, puck tracking, rebound control, lateral movement, puck handling, calmness under pressure, steps up in big games. His weaknesses, conditioning, skating, his glove hand, and protecting the top of the net. Let's start out and have a look at his strengths. Jacob's biggest strength is his hockey sense. He's considered to have the highest hockey sense amongst this year's crop of goalies. He reads the game so well that he's very tough to beat and to catch him by surprise. His puck tracking is high level, which allows him to be in position almost 100% of the time. He always seems to know where the shot will come from, and this keeps him square to the shooter and lets him track puck and shooter even through traffic. Good rebound control, limits secondary chances, being square to the shooter all the time. He can cover up or send the puck to the corner with his strong pad work. If he allows a rebound in a high-danger shot, he's able to recover and make a highlight reel save in tight. He's explosive in his lateral movement. It's a big strength and displays the strength in Jacob's lower body. If he gets caught off guard, he has the explosive lateral speed to usually make up for it, and this lateral strength helps him get over in an odd man rush situation. You know, a 2-on-1, the pass goes to one side, and he's able to get over. So that's something not all Montreal goalies had. Even Carey Price at times struggled with that. Confident puck handler. Knows when to handle it behind the net and when to play the puck and like when not to. He's confident in his abilities. He's not cocky like he says, just confident that he can stop the puck. His words, I'm not flashy or flip-floppy or lay on my back a lot. I just stop pucks. Like a Habs goalie before him, Carey Price, maybe, Fowler is calm and cool no matter the situation. His level-headedness and calm demeanor serve him well under pressure and in big game situations. He's a big game goalie. He steps up in pressure situations and big games, and even says that he loves to be playing in pressure situations and proving that he's good enough. The more pressure he has, the better he performs. Able to slam the door shut. Sort of a la Patrick Roy, maybe?
You know, I said earlier, I think pressure's a privilege, so the more pressure it is, I think it just means that you just got to go out and perform your best.
Let's take a look at his weaknesses. Fowler's rawness was probably the only reason, other than his 6'1" frame, that kept Fowler from being one of the first goalies chosen. His rawness probably means you have to wait for him a little longer than the other goalies, which is, you know, for a goalie, they take longer to develop. If it takes him a year or two extra and he develops and hits his ceiling, it'll be worth it. Conditioning. Every scouting report and almost from every scout I read about Jacob Fowler, they mentioned conditioning. So in an NHL starting goalie, conditioning is vital over a long regular season and playoffs. Fowler is seen as not in the best physical condition and will need to be successful at the NHL level. College is a great place for building the body and conditioning because of the light playing schedule. College players have more time in the gym, and Jacob will no doubt be spending lots of time there. He'll put that knock against him to rest by the time he's fully cooked and for NHL consumption. Skating is something you may not think about in terms of goalies. I know I sure didn't, but it's something Fowler will need to improve. He's gotten away with subpar skating so far because he's so good elsewhere. But at the NHL level, where everything happens at a much faster pace, skaters will get around you if your skating is subpar. Fowler will have to get better, and skating, as we know, is very fixable, and that's even in goalies. Jacob is a pure butterfly goalie. He has to work on covering the top part of the net better. He gives away the top part of the net a little too easily at times. One of the reasons for this is his glove hand. He needs a quicker glove hand and a better positioned glove hand. He'll need to improve his stats, I think, a bit too, and positioning for his glove hand. Projection time. Goalie is the hardest position to project for NHL success. Fowler has the tools, traits, and skills that should make a successful NHL goalie with the potential to be a #1 starter. So what would his timeline be? So he's raw right now. There's no doubt. But develop this kid properly, and he could be the goalie of the future. A future that likely takes 4 to 6 years to begin. Like, you know, my guess is 2027, 28, which is 5 years down the road. That's 4 years at college. Just in that interview, seems to be a kid that's going to go to college for 4 years and 1 year in Laval. And that's 5 years. And I think at that point, he'll be ready here. It's a long way down the road, but remember, a third-round draft pick. It's not like they drafted him in the first round. And I think waiting for a third-round pick that long, especially a goalie, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He is a small risk, but he's a huge reward if he hits. He's a small risk because they got him in the third round, and he'll be a huge reward if he hits as a number one goalie. Getting him in the third round is a huge reward, I think. So my conclusion here is a little Carey Price, a little Patrick Roy, and a whole lot of Jacob Fowler equals a promising young goalie with a high ceiling. A very mature, thoughtful, no BS, knows what's up, smart, likable young man, the kind of young hockey player you bet on to win, the kind of young goalie you draft if you have the opportunity. I understand now why GM Hughes didn't try to trade up into the second round, and I was fully expecting that to happen, and that's to get a higher ranked goalie. They may have targeted Fowler with the 69th pick to start with, so maybe we'll find that out in a later interview with Hughes, but I don't know for sure. Fowler has great upside. As long as the Habs have patience to develop him properly, rush him and ruin him. He has so many tools, and the ones he doesn't have are coachable and fixable. Some of the tools he does have, though, you can't teach. Fowler is truly a potential number one goalie, and in my opinion, at worst, a solid 1A or 1B in a good tandem. Welcome to Montreal, Jacob Fowler. So let me know what you guys think of Jacob Fowler and the pick down in the comment section there. That's it. Until next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. That's it. Ciao, everybody.